Good morning, good morning, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, and you are breathing. Today is Wednesday, June the 5th, 2024, and I would like to welcome you all to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Corner Gay. Hope everyone is enjoying their Wednesday midweek swing hump day. We're almost there, folks. We are almost there. Don't give up. Don't give up just yet. You're almost there. You are almost there. That's what I keep telling myself every day. Every day I wake up. Maybe it's a sad thing, but hey, it keeps me moving, keeps me motivated because Lord knows there are many days where I say, you know what? I don't feel like doing nothing. I ain't going nowhere. But mouths to be fed, bills to be paid, and money to be made. So grin and bear it, grin and bear it. But yeah, we're almost there. It's hump day. It's hump day. Hey, hope everyone is enjoying this Wednesday or will enjoy their Wednesday. Today's word of the day, fidelity, which means the quality or state of being faithful. Fidelity. All right. I guess that's where the word infidelity comes from. Hmm. A lot of folks out there that can't make that claim. They can't make that claim. They can't make that claim. No slight on my behalf. No slight on my behalf, folks. Hey, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. But that's the word of the day. Fidelity. The quality or state of being faithful. All right, let's move along here. Hey, the weather is looking pretty good, beautiful. Temperatures are warm. It's up in the high 80s with a real feel of 95 today, they're saying. Hey, the weather's changing. Even though the temps are in the 80s, it does it does feel like it's in the 90s, especially in the heat of the day. You go out about 12 o'clock, and you are in the heat of the day. But still, it's a welcoming sign. I enjoyed these warm days, these warm, beautiful, mild days before the heat comes. We know what's coming. Oh, if you've been in North Carolina like I have all of your life, or perhaps you only been here a few years, you know what's coming. You just do. But this weekend is looking pretty good, though. They're saying temperatures are going to be in the mid 80s. Might have some real feels again, but there's no chance of rain for the remainder of the week going into the weekend, except for Thursday. No, I'm sorry, except for Sunday. Sunday, they're saying it's quite possibly a strong chance we're going to get some rain, and that's going to carry us through the week to the midweek, I should say. Then I say Wednesday or Thursday, that's when the rain stops. Chance of rain, I should say, stops. And the beautiful weather, the sunshine, and the warm temperatures return. Summer in the South. Summer in the South, summer in North Carolina. You gotta love it. You got to love it. So I hope everyone, at least at some point in time, whether it be sometime this week or this weekend, has a chance to get out and enjoy this beautiful weather we are having. Like I said before, that heat comes. It's coming. It's coming. And of course, as always, my public service announcement. If you're out and about during this heat, hydrate, 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 and sunscreen. Just do, just do. And of course, another public service announcement to my African American fellow brethren. If you're of that mindset where you say, I don't need no sunscreen, I am naturally protected from the sun's ultraviolet rays. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. Put on that damn sunscreen and stop acting like a fool. The earth has changed. The earth has changed. No more can we make that claim. Just can't. Just can't. So wear the sunscreen. Wear the sunscreen and hydrate and limit your time outside also. And one thing I picked up here as of late, with this close cut I have on my head, I went out and I realized while I was out standing, the sun was tearing my skull up, beating the brakes off of it. So I had to go get me a hat. So hydrate, 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 sunscreen, and wear a hat as protection for your head also. Might cool you off a little bit. Ain't going to help much, but it might help you out a little bit. At least the top of your skull won't be steaming like I was the other day. Got caught slipping. Got caught slipping. I just got caught slipping. Can't help it. Can't help it. All right, let's move along here, man, to some sports. A little bit of sad news to start off with. The other day I was scrolling through my social media feed and I happened to see, I believe his name is Larry Allen, the former Dallas Cowboy All-Pro tackle and Super Bowl champion tackle. He played on that squad with Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, and Emmitt Smith. Of course, he was instrumental in Emmitt Smith gaining all those yards. Without big old Larry Allen, man, I don't know if Emmitt could have did it because when Larry Allen came pulling around that corner, if you were in his way, may the good Lord help you because you were flattened. You just were. So he passed. I really, I can't remember what he passed from. I really should have made a note of that. But he passed sometime earlier this week. So prayers is going out to his family. But he was one hell of a. I read somewhere and I was reading, and they are saying that arguably, if there is an argument, he may have been the best offensive tackle ever in the NFL. I give you that because, like I said, when he came pulling around that end, it was a wrap. I know that sounds odd come from me as though I'm not a Dallas Cowboy fan, but hey, I like to see good players, and he was one of those good players. I made the offensive line cool. Because I know there's a lot of guys that probably never would have thought of playing offensive line, regardless of their size. But when they saw Larry Allen coming, they probably said to themselves, hey, wait a minute. Maybe playing offensive line ain't so bad. One hell of an offensive lineman, I got to agree. I have to agree. So rest in peace and praying for his family. I believe he was 55. Whew, that's young. Young. Man, that's young. Hell, I'm only 50. Makes you think, makes you sit back and just think about your own mortality. Just say that. Just does. All right, let's move along here, man. Hey, tomorrow night, the NBA Finals kick off. Man, I can't wait. The Dallas Mavericks versus the Boston Celtics. Man, like I said, that's going to be a pretty good series. I think it mainly for me and many others out there, it mainly depends on how the Boston Celtics do in this first game. Because analysts and the great predictors are predicting the Dallas Mavs to take the series and win the championship, become the 2024 NBA champions. Yeah, it depends on what Boston does. It depends on what just Jason Tatum and Brown do. Is Jason Tatum going to get in his groove early, or is he going to slack off and flop? I got to be honest. He's done it numerous times. So I'll be watching tomorrow night. I want to see what this guy does, if he's going to do anything. I want to see what Boston does. I want to see if Boston can answer the challenge. Then, of course, you have those analysts that are saying that, hey, Dallas may not be that good. The Celtics, this might quite possibly could be the Celtics' time to take it. We'll see. We will see. Hey, I forgot to mention this the other day when I did my podcast on Monday. I forgot to mention this. I may have hinted at it, but I really didn't talk about it that much. I'm wondering how many of you guys saw that post-game interview during that Dallas Mavericks Minnesota Timberwolves series. It might have been about the second or third game. They called Kyrie Irving up. And you can feel, you could just feel it, and you could see it, the tension that was in the air, because every single last one of those analysts on NBA, on TNT, Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, what's his name? His name escapes me for the moment. Ernie Johnson included, When Kyrie went on that thing about when he made those statements, what they termed disparaging remarks about the Jews and their participation in the slave trade, as far as it goes to them building the boats, every single last one of them called him an idiot. They said he was dumb, he was stupid, and in any locker room he would enter, he would be a distraction. Like I said then, Monday, and like I said the previous podcast before that one, what a difference a year makes. Because every single one of those guys had to sit there and renege and turn shamefaced. Said that guy was done. You said he was an idiot. You said he was stupid. He was just dumb. He was a distraction. Any locker room he goes into, he's going to be a distraction. And the Brooklyn Nets are doing a good job, or did a good job, of trading his tail away. And when you saw he was going to the Dallas Mavericks, you said it ain't going to work. He's not going to work well with Luka, which the two of them, like they jailed like they've been playing all of their damn careers. And now they're in the NBA Finals as quite possibly one of the best backcourts in NBA history. So yeah, those guys had the renege, and you could see the looks on their faces. It was very tentative and unsureness. When you got to renege, you gotta eat humble crow. It shows on your face, every single last one of them. And when I tell you every single last one of them, I mean every single last one of them. We're on that bash Kyrie Irving bandwagon. Call him every name in the book but a child of God. Now you got to renege. You got to turn shamefaced it. Eat you some humble crow. Well, let that be a lesson to just not the kiddies, but to you adults too. Before you start bashing and writing folks off, realize and understand that it's their opinion. That was his opinion. That was his God-given right as a human being born on this earth to have that opinion. And it was also his God-given right to deny or say flat out, hey, I ain't taking that vaccine. I have way too many questions, and the questions aren't being answered. That's his God-given right. He doesn't have to tag along with the rest of us. He just doesn't. If he chooses not to do something, he chooses not to do something. If he chooses to make a statement about something he believes in, or he is making a educated guess about, that's his right. There's no need to call this a fellow human being, another person walking the face of this earth, because you don't agree with what they're saying, or you are afraid that he may upset that damn apple cart, an idiot, dumb, and stupid. Thought you guys had more class than that, but apparently they don't. Or didn't. Well, whatever the case may be, they had to renege. They had to renege. Had to say in there, and I won't say they kissed up to him, but they had to humble themselves. And hats off to Kyrie also, because he was sitting there, and I gotta say, pretty strong-willed, pretty calm and patient man. But you can still tell there was a tenseness in his body. He was waiting for one of them to come off the cuff wrong, and he probably was going to tear off into him. But he didn't. He remained professional. So hats off to him. I can't give you that. I can't say I would sit there and be calm, cool, and professional after someone has called me stupid, dumb, or an idiot, or said I was a distraction based off of what I thought and said. Can't give you that. I would like to tell you I would be that way, but I really can't give you that. Probably would have tried to choke one of them with their own damn ties. I just would have. I know me. I know me like a book. I have a lane and I stay in it faithfully. So a lot of time I may appear to be standoffish or timid, but I know my lane and I stay in it. Because usually when I'm outside of my lane, I've blown my top, I go too far. So hats off to him. And to those guys from NBA on TNT, choose your words more carefully next time. By the way, I believe there's some rumor going around or some speculation, or it might be true, that they quite possibly could be canceled. It's a pretty good show. I gotta say, despite what the thing with Kyrie Irving, I enjoy watching it. Hell, a lot of times I'll watch the games. When there's really no good games on, I'll watch just to see their post game, halftime, and pregame commentary. They're pretty funny to me in comparison to that ESPN. That thing is dry. I got to be honest with you. If they're doing away with NBA on TNT and they're going to replace it with ESPN color commentary team, hope you guys find some more, because they ain't it. Stephen A. Smith, he's pretty dry on that one, but First Take, he's hitting on all cylinder. But when he gets to that, I guess he wants to remain professional. I get it, got it, understand it, but they're dry. So if NBA on TNT's been canceled, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I said, a lot of times I just watch those basketball games, hey, just to watch those fools, watch them cut a fool. I just did. All right, let's move along here, man. And the political foolishness continues. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Next batter up, Hunter Biden, President Biden's son. He's on trial in Delaware for lying on a gun application. Now, I honestly didn't know this, but I don't know. I think they said Delaware is not the only state. Apparently, many other states have this rule that you can't purchase or you can't purchase or have a gun or get a gun permit if you're a drug addict, if you're addicted to drugs. And it's no secret that Hunter Biden was addicted to drugs, crack, cocaine, to be more specific. It's been a focal and talking point at many times for the Republican Party. And apparently they got their ducks in a row, and they have Hunter Biden on trial for lying on that gun application. They're saying that, hey, he knowingly filled out that gun application and lied, even though he knew he was a drug addict. Like I said, apparently in Delaware, it's against the law to own a firearm, and of course, fill out an application for a firearm if you know you are a drug addict. Now, his defense team says he wasn't using drugs at the time. He had gone into rehab. He was doing fine. His drug of choice, or they said he wasn't using drugs, they're saying, hey, he was an alcoholic. I guess that's the lesser of two evils. Maybe. I don't know. But isn't alcohol considered a drug too? At least that's the way I remember it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this program, but it was around and about when I was a kid, called the DARE campaign, that was started by First Lady Nancy Reagan. And sometime a little bit after, that's when they included alcohol into the mix, along with the cocaine, the heroin, the marijuana, the pills. Alcohol was put in the mix as a drug also, so maybe they reclassified it, and I missed the memo. Or maybe it's just been downgraded. It's not, everybody's drinking. It's not a drug, apparently, anymore. Maybe they're saying, maybe that law or that rule is for hard narcotics. Let me stop being a butt. But alcohol is a drug. Like I said, as I remember with that DARE campaign, I'm sure many of you know what DARE is or was. It's a campaign that was started by former First Lady Nancy Reagan during her husband's administration to combat the uprising and uptick in cocaine use and crack use in the country at that time in the 80s. And I can't remember when they included alcohol in the mix. But his defense team said, hey, alcohol is not a drug. He wasn't addicted to narcotics. He was addicted to alcohol. He was using alcohol. Now, I got to say, the prosecution's pulling out all the stops, man. They going deep. They have his laptop. If you've seen that famous pictures with him, yeah, he was high as a kite. He was high as a kite up a Georgia damn pine. I'm not laughing and making light of the guy because he's an addict. But if you saw that picture, yeah, he was high as Cootie Brown. He was high as Cootie Brown, man. Yeah, that guy was, yeah, he was using. He was using. He was using. Just was. Or maybe that was the alcohol and the crack. I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't give you. But yeah, they found his laptop. They've even gone back to his memoirs, his books that he had written, and they called that out. And they've calling, or they're getting ready, or have called his wife to the stand, who, by the way, is his brother that passed, Bo. It was Bo's wife. So now they're married, apparently. Won't go down that road. I'm not venturing down that damn road with y'all. I'm not going down that road with y'all. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. So they called her because apparently there was a text message between her and him when she found the gun when he was on a trip out to L.A. and she threw the gun in the trash and texted him and you know, asked him and told him was scorning him out. Why do you have a gun? And he said, did you just do that to me? He said, she said, yeah. And he said that was not a good thing, pretty much. So they're calling her, and they're calling that text messages out. They're calling a gun shop owner to the stand. They're going to call some more witnesses. I'm really trying to just figure out, and maybe this is me. I've often been told I'm kind of slow. What do you hope to gain from this? For prosecuting or bringing this guy to trial for lying on a gun application, and somewhat to the point that, you know, you're saying that he lied because he was a drug addict. Is there prison time? There may be a fine, but is there prison time for this? Or is it just to embarrass and smear the name of President Joey Boy Biden? Oh, smoking Joe. I'll take the latter for 1,000, Alex. I just will. I say, hey, this is politics. This is politics. I said it about former President Trump and those trials he has or has had, especially that last one with that money that was funneled around to pay off the porn star with that extramarital affair he had. To me, I'm sorry. And I know many of you out there, I got to say, you got to agree. Was that really a reason to waste taxpayers' money to bring him to court for that? I know it was campaign money, but he was just paying off a side piece. I mean, can you consider her a side piece? Considering her profession? So I'm asking the same question. Is it really worth the taxpayers' time and money? Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe a jury has been seated. Is it really worth the time and money that you're using taxpayers' dollars to pay for a trial to bring this guy up on charges for lying on a gun application because he said he was not a drug addict? There's a point to be made here, and it's geared to and going directly towards President Biden. Trying to smear his name, I guess. I don't know how this is going to work out. I just don't. Not too sure. But I guess you can always, you can always fish and hunt if that's what you choose to do. Not too sure how that's going to work out, but yeah, that's the skinny on that. I have no words either way, coming or going. I just don't. I really just don't. I just don't. So we'll see what happens with that. You know, hey, the president's son's on trial. And he's been brought to the forefront that he's a drug addict or former drug addict because he says he's been rehabilitated. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens with this. All right. Let's go get it. Very interesting. Something is coming out, or it has came out. By the time you hear this, the law is probably already going to be on the books. It appears that North Carolina House lawmakers are today expected to approve legislation that would automatically send 16 and 17-year-olds who commit violent crimes straight to adult court. Now the Republican-led chamber, they're saying that, hey, as a result of the crime numbers and the crime statistics in the gangs, it's time to change the law because offenders are getting younger and younger. So now they're saying 16 and 17-year-olds, depending on your criminal offense, if it's been considered a violent, heinous crime, you're going to be tried as an adult. Now, if approved or will be approved, they're saying it's a shoe-in because the Republicans have the control of the House. It's going to be House Bill 834. I gotta say, I get where they're going. And yeah, the gang problem here in North Carolina, it has gotten a little out of hand or has been allowed to get out of hand. Because we've had a problem with gangs for some decades here, and only within the past few years or maybe the past decade has it been brought to the forefront, and then there's an alarm that's been sounded, and now all of a sudden everybody's scrambling around trying to figure out how to combat this gang problem, and it ain't the older ones, it's the younger ones. They're getting younger and younger. Very reminiscent, and it mirrors what is going on throughout this country, Chicago, New York, LA, Texas, Oklahoma. The gang members are younger. And when I say younger, they're younger than 16, 12, 13, 14. Some may be even as young as 10. So yeah, there is a problem with the youth and the violent crime. And apparently the state lawmakers here in North Carolina have decided that, hey, if you're 16 and 17 and you commit a violent crime, a violent, heinous act, you're going to be tried as an adult. Now, until 2019, North Carolina was the only state in the country to still automatically charge all 16 and 17-year-olds in adult court, even for the most minor criminal offenses. Then there was a raise the age law that changed that by allowing those teenage offenders to be tried in juvenile court, while also having the option for particular serious crimes to be moved to adult court. So in 2019, up until 2019, yeah, kids were being charged as adults. But that raised the age law, and I remember that back in 2019, they changed it. Now by, 4, 5 years later, looks like they're putting it back on the books. The numbers have risen with these violent acts by these young teenagers. And it's not just boys. It's girls, too. Many are saying the girls are more violent than the boys. Wow, this most definitely is a different world we are living in. Just is. Now, under the bill, juvenile offenders who commit felonies would bypass juvenile court. And the proposal would also lead to more serious charges for adults who entice juveniles to commit crimes. That's them OGs. They certainly got their bases covered. Looks like thus far. I mean, hey, if you're going to convict one, you might as well convict them all. So apparently these OGs or UNC, or however you term them, they're on the chopping block also. Now the legislation is if it's passed, is going to be going to Governor Roy Cooper, who can sign a veto or let the bill pass without his signature. Now it would go into effect on December 1st. I'm wondering how Governor Cooper is going to respond to this. As we all know, here in North Carolina, Governor Cooper and his administration, and also Democrat gubernatorial hopeful Josh Stein, who is the state's attorney general, they've made no quarrels or qualms about it, how they feel about juveniles and crimes. They still want to keep them as juveniles. They wanted to stay in juvenile court, which is understandable. I mean, even for me, there's a side of me that says, hey, a kid screws up at whatever, 14, 15, 16 years old, he shouldn't be in jail the rest of his life. But you got to send a message. You got to get something, a point across at some point in time, because you have allowed it to fester for so long. We have allowed it to fester for so long. Just like I told you guys about the city of Durham. The problem with the gangs here in Durham is That problem has been allowed to fester for decades, and now everyone's scrambling around trying to figure out how to combat it. Same thing has happened throughout this state. Same thing has happened throughout the country also. Let's be honest with each other here. This is going on throughout the United States, or has been going on throughout the United States. Like I mentioned earlier, Chicago, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Why, what in the world? Side note, I usually don't do this, but I got myself caught up on YouTube for about 2 or 3 days watching those documentaries about the gangs in Chicago and their famous gang members and that what is that drill music. And I got to be honest with you, it's a naivete on my part. I paid it no mind when I first heard about those gangs and groups that were gangs in Chicago and New York or wherever, but more specific, Chicago. When I first heard about them, I said, oh, man, they're just gangbangers, just dealing drugs, little young, stupid, you know what? Those guys are hitmen. For all intents and purposes, they're damn hitmen. At 14, 15, 16, 17, or younger years of age, they're hitmen. They have no problem pulling the trigger on their ops. That's scary. And I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't no old softy or nothing, but that's scary that a child whose mind hasn't developed has no quarrels or qualms about pulling the trigger to kill another kid. Another kid that they grew up with. They probably went to the same damn school. There ain't no problem they did. A lot of them did. But, let me get back on track here with this bill. I mean, this is very reminiscent and the same thing that's going on throughout the United States. The problem with gangs and the gang members being extremely young and they're committing these violent, heinous acts. And they're throughout the country, they're trying to figure out, well, how do we deal with it? How do we charge them? How do we curb the rise in gang violence and get these young kids with something else on their mind? Apparently, this is it. This is the answer that has been given. They're going to try them as adults. I don't know. I don't know. Now, Republican lawmakers in the state Senate, they've been working with a lobbyist for prosecutors, proposed a bill. So apparently a group of prosecutors, I guess they found a lobbyist and they got together and said, hey, we need to bring something to the state to send a strong message. Supporters say that it would make it easier to use the prison system to punish people who commit violent crimes, even if they are teenagers. Wow. Our youth. When I say our youth, of course, I'm talking about the African American community. I mean, who else could this be geared for or geared towards? Be honest. You haven't been up on a rock the past few decades. I know you haven't. A lot of you are in these communities with these young men and women that are committing these violent, heinous acts. So you know full well what this bill is geared towards. Just like we know full well what there's another bill that came down or is trying to go through the state house where they're trying to restrict or flat out outlaw face masks. Now, these aren't the face masks like we had to wear during COVID, where you put around, the surgical mask. They're more geared. This is more geared towards the hoodie face mask. The hoodie face mask where you put it on like a little. I liken it to a flash mask, that flash headgear that we used to wear in the Navy when we would fight fires. And you pull it up and it covers your mouth. And pull it down and it covers your face. The only thing you can see is your eye and your nose. So there's a bill, or there's going to be a bill that's going to come up where they're trying to outlaw and ban that. Who's that geared towards? Be honest. Who's that geared towards? African American youth. I've asked myself the question many a times when I see them. Man, it's 200 degrees outside. Why the hell does this kid have on that flash mask? Wow. There's another side of it where they're saying that, hey, even though we're going to be sending them to adult. I'm wondering if they're going to be sending them to adult prison, or if they're still going to be in these juvenile justice facilities, because there are some opponents that are saying, hey, you really need to just do away with this bill and put more money into the juvenile justice facilities and systems where we can get together and horn in and see what these kids' problems are, what these youth's problems are, and we could work with them that way to make sure they don't commit any more violent, heinous acts. But a lot of times these violent, heinous acts is murders. What about those people's family members, loved ones, children that have been killed by these youths that are committing these violent, heinous acts? I'm torn. I got to be honest with you. I don't know how many of you feel about it. Get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this bill, and also about that bill that's trying to work its way through with those flash masks. I call them flash masks because that's what they are to be. If you were in the Navy, then you would put that on and then put on your OBA face mask, gas mask, or whatever. You just would. So, how do you all feel about this? What do you think about this new bill that is coming through? Is it, because I know what's coming down the pipe, we all do, is it unfairly targeting minority youth? Or is it something that's been a long time coming that should have been done decades ago? And then up until 2019, that raised the age law or bill that came down should have never went into effect. Let me know what you think. I'm torn. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't give you a definitive yes or no on it. Because at the same time, there's a part of me that says, hell yeah, lock them up. You kill somebody, I don't care about your age. You knew what you were doing. You need to serve the time, however long it is. And then there's a side of me that, like I said previously, wow, 16, that's a little too young. You do something stupid, that grave. Even though it is murder, do you really deserve to spend the rest of your life in jail? I've asked that question for adults that committed murder and they get that life sentence. So how do you guys feel about that? What do you think? I mean, I really would love to know. I'm on the fence. I'm going to be honest with you. I am. I'm on the fence. I can't give you a yay or nay. We'll see what the outcome will be. Right now, it's totally up to Governor Roy Cooper. What he's going to do? Is he going to sign the bill and put it into law? Or is he going to veto and just let it take effect December 1st? I mean, he'll be out of office. Whether it be Democrat Josh Stein or Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, Roy Cooper's going to be gone. He's going to be out of there, baby. Term limit. He served his terms, so he's going to be out of there. Certainly, it's a different world we're living in. I can remember when I came along and right when all of this started, some 20 some odd years ago, when all of this started, or 30 some odd years and all this started, when the youth started to pick up with a lot of violent acts, when the gangs started to come around and drug dealing, the drugs, the cocaine, the crack, or whatever, and they were discovering that a lot of youth were committing violent acts. I can remember when all of this came about, and there was a big question then, very like it is now. Isn't it overstepping? Is there an overstepping of your bounds when you say that, hey, a juvenile, a child under the age of 18 should be tried as an adult because of the crime they committed, whether it be a felony or a violent, heinous act? Should they be tried as an adult, or should they just be tried in the juvenile court system and held for a while until you can hope that you can reprogram them, rehabilitate them? then hey, I don't know how much of a rehabilitation you're going to do if you're going to release them and then send them right back to the community where they learned and honed those skills and mindset. Maybe part of the rehabilitation process is to get them out of that community. Should be. I just wouldn't think that maybe that's just me and my the little common sense that I have. I just can't see sending someone right back smack dab into the pit. And that's where they learned and their mindset changed and honed in and focus on doing these violence acts. I can't see you sending them back there. It makes no sense. So is that part of the rehabilitation process? No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. I'll answer that question for you. It's not. It's not. 9 times out of 10, I hate to say it, they send them right back to from whence they came. And that's anybody. Adults too. Just is. Just is. Just is. So yeah, get in that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this new bill that is being passed or has been passed. They're pretty much saying it's a slam dunk. It's done. It's done. It's done. Is it okay for to say that a 16 or 17-year-old, if they commit a horrible, violent, heinous act, should be tried as an adult? Or is it something that needs to stay in the juvenile judicial system, and you need to figure out a way to rehabilitate them and work with them, give them some life skills? Like I said, I'm on the fence. I can't give you a definitive answer. So get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think, whether yay or nay. Or maybe you can propose something else. Totally. Might blow my mind. Just might. And also get in that comment section. Let me know what you think about this Hunter Biden situation. Is this politics or is it a crime? Well, we'll see. We will see. We will see. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to skedaddle. Hey, as always, thank you for lending me your ears this morning. Continue to like, support, and share. Get in that comment section. Hit that bell icon so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Hit that like and subscribe button also so you can get notified when I drop these podcasts. Keep you in the loop. And as always, thank you for listening to This Is Just a Thought with Stephen Cornegay. Amen.